Okie dokie. Right, we'll just get cracking, and then if someone else requests to join, I'll just pause it quickly and we'll let them in. Let me share my screen so I can take you through these slides. Now, time-wise, probably I'll try and get through this as quick as I can, maybe half an hour, maybe 45 minutes max. I've got Winter's Christmas play this afternoon, so I can't be late for that. So it's definitely not going to run past an hour, because then I've got to run down to the school and get a front seat. She's already told me that I need to be at the front to watch. Okay. Give me a thumbs up, or oh, bless you, Sarah. I feel very antisocial. Yeah, all good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, as long as you can see. Oh, you've got your Xmas show tomorrow. Love that. That's what Christmas is all about, isn't it? Right. Present. Cool. Just give me another thumbs up, or take yourself off mute just so I can check. Yeah, thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. Cool. Okay, right. Here is what I'm going to run through with you today. Simple ad strategies that you can just get started really, really quickly. Some more advanced strategies, the elements of your ad, the creatives, the hook, the copy, because there's important bits about all of those, the different audiences that you can advertise to, and like I said, a Q and A at the end. So why should we use ads in the first place? Well, Instagram's organic reach has seen a substantial decrease. In 2024, the average reach rate of Instagram was 4%, which was down 18% versus the previous year. And versus previous years to that, it's had about a 60 to 80% drop off in reach metrics. So put simply, no one's seeing your stuff. You know, it used to be that you'd post out and you get loads of likes, loads of comments, lots of people would see it. Now it's just not the case. And if you think of this metric here, 4 to 8, 8 is a really good kind of end of that metric. If you've got 1,000 followers, that means 40 to 80 of your followers are seeing your stuff. And more than likely, they're going to be friends or other coaches or clients, people that already engage in your stuff. So really, the people that you want to see just aren't seeing your stuff at all. Now, a friend of mine went to a mastermind in Dubai a couple of weeks ago with one of the really, really big industry mentors, Charlie Johnson. And he's always been about organic marketing. And they said in that meeting, it's now become a pay-to-play arena. And those coaches that have been established for a long time have got an unfair advantage because they were in the right time at the right place. They grew their audience size, whereas new coaches coming on board now, it's a lot harder. So mastering ads is going to be a real key to your long-term success as an online coach. So this is how I like to think about ads. If you think about just running your bricks and mortar business and you printed off some leaflets, you've got two options. You can go out and you can put those leaflets through the letterbox, and you could spend a weekend doing that, and you might get, I don't know, 500-600 houses done in that time. And that's fine, but you're exchanging time for money. The other option you've got is obviously to pay this guy to go and leaflet drop for you and hope he does stick them through the letterbox and not in a bush. Flashback to my uni days there of doing leafleting. That's throwing me off now completely thinking about throwing leaflets in the bush. But yeah, you've got an exchange of time for money. So you can think about doing everything manually, or you can accept that you might have to part with some money in terms of reaching more people and saving some time. And that's really what ads are. They're just about pushing your message out there to more people. And this is what I'm all about. And if you've watched some of the content on school, you'll understand that I'm not about that hustle life where we are doing those jaw drops, right? We're following 100 accounts, we're doing content every single day, sending lots of DMs. This stuff does work. You can grow a coaching business doing this stuff, but it often leads to burnout. And what does happen, which has happened to a lot of coaches that I know, is that they become successful with this kind of hustle model, but as they fill up with coaching time and clients, suddenly they don't have the spare time to be able to then do this. So the business starts to decrease and decrease because then they haven't got the time to do all of this marketing stuff. So I'm all about the anti-hustle life. Rather than making tons of content, sending lots of DM, we just run ads. It serves the same purpose, gets people out of there. Then we can use things like AI conversation to take care of some of the, again, time saving for us. And then the crucial element, which a lot of people miss, is you have to build some trust, connection, and authority with your audience. And I'll get onto the steps for you to do this in a minute, but you can do that via your content. You can do that via community. You can do it through like a workshop style like this. Then as part of my anti-hustle funnel, definitely encourage you to have a VA. I use VAs to take part of some of those initial conversations because they're always the icky bit that we hate to do. Then we send them an offer doc and we book in an alignment call. So it's all about no hustle and authentic sales. But back to ads. So this is a mistake sometimes people make, is they think they should sell with an ad because that's what we're used to seeing on the TV. You know, they're selling us products, but no one is gonna just buy your product if they've never ever heard from you and they just see you on Instagram. So our goal isn't to sell, it's just to get them to the next step on our staircase, on our ladder, on our funnel, whatever you want to call it. And this is what I call the 3 layers of belief. So they have to believe that you have the right product, the right solution for them. They have to believe that you are the right coach and the right fit for them. And they have to have the belief that they are able to do it too. You need those 3 levels of belief before you're going to get the sale. And that's what we use our funnel for, creating those layers of belief. So often you've got the right product, you might be the right coach, but people have so many limiting beliefs, especially when it comes to fitness, that they talk themselves out of it. So it's really important how we position our content to create that belief for them. So just a quick note, before running ads, definitely read the terms of Meta's ad policies because you can very easily get your ad account banned. You're not allowed to make guarantees. So you can't say you're going to lose X amount of weight in this time. You can't post before and after pictures or pictures with too much skin. So definitely have a look before placing ads because there's a shed load of terms and conditions in there and you do not want to get your ad account banned. Side note on this, it can be useful to set up a separate Facebook page just so that you've got a backup ad account just in case for whatever reason, you know, they do kind of restrict you. You've got a separate page that you can use. Other warning is you want to master the organic basics before you get into paid ads. Otherwise, you're just going to have a leaky bucket. You can have people coming into your audience. And if you don't have your kind of follow-up process, your sales process, your messaging, everything else set up on the back end, you're just going to be losing money. And running ads isn't a shortcut. It's a way that you can supplement and kind of boost what you're already doing. So you want to get the foundation solid before you start running ads. So ad types, 2 different types. We have on Instagram or on Facebook, boost, which you would have seen on your post in the bottom right hand corner. And then we have placing ads via Meta Business Manager. Now the difference between these really is in simplicity. Boost ads, you could obviously click a button, do it really quickly, but you're limited with kind of who you can target and the call to actions that you can position. You've got a lot more options with Meta Business Manager to be able to target certain people and run different types of campaigns. But if your account is brand new, then sometimes running a boosted ad does work better on the Instagram until you've got your account kind of past 30, 60, 90 days. They start to take you more seriously. I'm going to explain what ones that you can do with boosted posts in a minute. So here's a super simple ads strategy. And believe it or not, a lot of the companies that I see kind of, you're always seeing them popping up on your algorithm of promising six figures and the rest of it with ads, use this really simple strategy. I call it Organic Plus because it really is just an extension of your organic marketing. And this can be as simple as you look at your posts, you look at the performance. So you go into the insights of your post and you find one that had a good percentage of follows. So maybe you've done one that went really, really well. You got quite a few new followers off it. And then all you do is you just boost that post. So you might put £10 behind it daily and just put that out to a suggested audience. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get new followers come in off the back of it because it's already demonstrated that's the action people take off of it. And the great thing about when you boost a post or you put it through Meta Business Manager is there is options, and one of the options you can click is encourage follows, encourage profile visits. So the button that they click takes them to your profile and encourages them to follow. Then you just run them through your organic funnel. So your organic funnel should look like when they follow you, you start a conversation, maybe you offer them some free value, a lead magnet, you start to build rapport with them, and then ultimately, you nurture that conversation onto either a sales call or something else to warm them up. So this is the most basic strategy and it actually works really, really well, but you need to have the fundamentals in place on your page first. You need to have your profile optimized for your ideal client so that when they do come to the page, they do actually decide to follow you. There's enough value and the messaging there speaks directly to them. So 2 advanced strategies. And by the way, the 3 strategies that I'm talking through now, they all work, right? I've used all 3, they all work, but depending on maybe the type of client that you're going after or just your ability to set this up will depend which strategy you use. I actually use all 3 of these kind of intermittently. So this one, DM to AI. So this is where I use a chatbot like the calorie counter that I've got in school. So it's as simple as setting up ManyChat to initiate the first part of the conversation. And that can point them towards a school community, could point them towards a free ebook that you put together, or it might just leave it open so that you can then kind of pick up the conversation with them after. But the really, really crucial part about this is the success of a DM ad, which is where we encourage someone to send us a keyword, start a conversation, depends entirely on the speed of your response. Every 5 minutes that goes past, the chance of that lead converting into a prospect decreases by about 20%. So after about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, drastically reduces the chance of that person ever converting because people have got a very, very short-term memory and they chase shiny objects. 1 minute they're super invested in the program that they've seen advertised. 10 minutes later, they've forgotten about it. You reach out, they're like, oh, sorry, I clicked that by accident. Whereas if you get them straight into a conversation, you can then kind of pick that back up and they're already warmed up. So you would use Meta Business Suite to set this up, and you would choose it as an Instagram lead campaign, and then you would set up ManyChat, just like I talked through in the opening course on school. Next advanced strategy is the challenge funnel. Now this works really, really well in terms of building that trust and authority. So a challenge funnel is just inviting people to take part in a 5-day or even a 3-day challenge. So for example, I've done drop a dress size challenges where they come in for 5 days into a Facebook group. You do maybe go live a couple of times, you give some workshops within that. Maybe you have a step challenge or some sort of challenge, maybe a workout challenge for those 5 days. Everyone gets kind of super G'd up, they're enjoying the community. And then on day 4, you pitch them into your program. Now, you can run this organically, and it works really, really well organically. But then quite quickly, you run out of audience, and then this is where you put ads behind it. So these type of ads, you would again run through Facebook Business Meta Ads Manager, and you would choose a traffic campaign, and you would choose a lead form. This is where they input their name and email address. And actually what happens on Facebook is it pre-populates that information for them. And this is probably the lowest cost lead that you will get, because people are a lot less resistant to just putting their name and email in. Then we'd have an email sequence on the back of it just to make sure that they've actually signed up for the group that's going to take part the next week. Works really, really well if you've got your niche kind of dialed in. You're specific about who you're targeting, i.e. busy mums that are 30 to 40 that want to drop a dress size, right? And then you can be really specific with your demographic and how you target them. So components of an ad. The three components are the creative, the hook, and the copy. They each have different purposes. So the creative is simply just to get them to stop from all the shiny stuff on Instagram and get them to read. Then we have the hook, which creates some intrigue or some interest for them to then read the copy, and the copy is the text or underneath your post. And the copy is there to compel them to take action. So think of it, it's kind of its own little funnel. Stop the scroll, create enough interest, then they read it and they go, oh, that sounds good. And then they take whatever action you set out for them next. Do's and don'ts with ad creatives. You want to avoid using stuff that looks like an ad, because ad fatigue is a real thing. There's so much advertisement, not just on Instagram, but everywhere now, that people automatically they don't have to see it. Their eyes already know it's an advertisement and they just scroll past. So you want to avoid using things like Canva templates. You also want to avoid having too much text on the page like this one. You don't need contact details. You don't need logo. You don't need any of that stuff. Your brand doesn't have the authority to kind of stop a scroll with the logo. No one cares about your logo. So you just want to keep it super, super clean, have an image, and then have a short amount of text. And I'll give you some examples of that in a minute. So what actually works really, really well for creatives is stuff that looks organic. It doesn't look like an ad. So simple selfies, pictures, stuff like this works really, really well. And then you want it to be obviously bright. Don't want it to be dimly lit. Holiday pictures always work really, really well. Smiley, always be smiley, because Instagram rewards you for a big cheesy smile on the platform. And like I said before, you don't want to have too much text. You might not even have any text at all. On Facebook, you have this part here, which is your headline. But on Instagram, you don't have that. So the difference between placing ads on Facebook and Instagram is this hook here, you would actually place on top of your ad. So when you were doing it in Canva, or you can do it on your phone, you'd create a little text bubble there with your hook. But Facebook has the advantage of having a hook and having the open line of your copy there. So here's an example. So this is an Instagram ad. You can see nice bright hook on top of it, and it is literally a gym selfie. It's taken 2 seconds to do, but it's got a compelling hook. Do you feel like you look at a cupcake and gain weight? So it creates some intrigue. Now with ad hooks, there's different types of ad hooks that you can use. And I've got a document that I'm going to share with you with some examples. But here's the different kind of variations. You can have shock and awe, curiosity, solution focused, or kind of list ones. So shock and awe could be, most coaches are lying. You can transform your life in 90 days without burning out. Curiosity, I've given you the example there of the cupcake. Solution could be, hey, are you tired of cookie cutter workouts that don't deliver? And lists could be 7 reasons why your online fitness coaching will change your life. So just a couple of examples there. You'll notice that they're not particularly long. You don't want it to be a massive sentence. It needs to be quick, catchy, create that excitement, intrigue, shock for them to then read the copy. And then that's where we want them to take action. So when I talk about ad copy, this is what I mean. It's just the text of your Instagram ad or of your Facebook ad. And I use what we call the 4P formula. Now, the most powerful copy that you can write is when you tell a story. And you really want to think about this in your organic marketing and in your paid advertising, because people love to read stories. And the 4P formula looks like this. First, you want to open up with what is the problem. So the problem could be, are you overweight, right? Are you 10 kilograms overweight, for example? What's the pain attached to that problem? Do you look in the mirror and feel like crap? The possibility could be, would you love to be able to go on holiday in 12 months' time and feel confident in your bikini? And then the proposal could be, I've designed my 6-month bikini program specifically for you, and I've put together a free training to explain what it's all about. Yeah. Butchered that example a bit, but I think you kind of get the idea. Doesn't want to be War and Peace, wants to be short, concise paragraphs that outline the problem, the pain, possibility, and the proposal. That's going to take them on a bit of an emotional journey. And we only act on emotion. You know, we're emotional creatures. So you need to create that emotional trigger for them to then take action. And whoever clicks on the ad is going to take the next form of action, whether that's downloading an ebook, or whether that's going into a challenge funnel, whether that's going into the AI calorie counter. Now, audience, you have 2 types of audience. We have a cold audience and we have a warm audience. And this is super important to understand for your marketing, because these audiences are going to be receptive to different things. Now, a warm audience is people that are already within your followers, or they know about you, or they've engaged with your content, or they've visited your website before, or they've been part of a Facebook group. Like, they know you exist in some format. And with Facebook Business Manager, you can target these people. So for instance, you can target people whether they've visited your Instagram in the last 7 days, in the last 30 days, in the last 365 days, whether they've visited your website in the past. You can set up what's called a Facebook pixel on your ads, which will track whether people have clicked on your ad before. Again, these are all people that are warm, and warm people are going to be more receptive to a direct offer. You know, if someone's been following us for a while, we can target them with a specific ad. So say we're going to be running a New Year, New You campaign, got a new program. We would just advertise that to our warm audience because they know, like, and trust us already. They're more primed to buy. We wouldn't advertise that to our cold audience. And our cold audience is anyone that sits outside of our following, anyone that's never heard of us. And that makes up the majority of our advertising, unless you've got a huge audience already. And these people are not ready to buy. These people, we're just trying to lure them into our world, into our funnel with free things, so that then we can warm them up. Then we can retarget them with an offer later. You're always going to have higher conversion advertising to a warm audience because they know you already. The other parts of the audience, when you're setting up your ads, and again, this is in Meta Business Manager. You can do this in boosted posts, but it's very, very limited with what you can target. Meta Business Manager, you've got a lot more options. So obviously you want to think about demographic. Where in the world they live? Are they male, female? How old are they? always start with your home country or wherever you sell most of your stuff already, because they're going to be more receptive to your offer. You know it works in that country before then expanding. So don't just think, oh, I'm going to target all English speaking countries. Start in the UK. Once it's working, then you could start in the testing in the US and Australia and Canada or wherever else. Now, the other part is the psychographic of the person. So if you're targeting busy mums, for instance, you want to think about what their interests are. What sort of music do they listen to? What car might they drive? What books might they read? What television programs might they like? What shops, are you going to target people that shop at Lidl, or are you going to target people that shop at Waitrose? All of these things, you can build a profile of your ideal person, and then you can run campaigns. So to give you an example of some of the campaigns that I've run before, I've had campaigns where I just have a broad demographic. So like women 30 to 40 who live in the UK, or I've had ones where it's like women who are interested in Sainsbury's, or women who are interested in interior design, because if you've got some money, then you're more interested in interior design than someone that hasn't, right? And then you can start to test what ones work better for you. But you always want to have a combination, right, of demographics and psychographics. And this leads me on to probably the most important part of your ads, is you have to test ads, and you have to test multiple ads, because there isn't a formula that says this is going to work. It's only through placing them, seeing what data comes back. And this is what you really want to think of ads are. They are data. And the more you run them, the more data you get to be able to then, increase the success rate of them. So the 4-4-2 formula looks like this. You choose what campaign you're going to run, right? So say you're going to run a challenge campaign, you're going to run a 5-day free challenge. You would create 4 different creatives for that. So that might be 3 images, and that might be 1 video. So it could be 3, could be a selfie, could be a camera graphic, something else, and then maybe you've just got a face to camera video saying, hey, I'm running a challenge. Then you want to have 4 different audiences that you run that to. So it could be that all of these are women in their 30s, but one audience is Sainsbury's shoppers, the other audience is Marks and Spencer shoppers, other audience is interested in Taylor Swift, other audience is interested in Tesla cars, right? And then you have 2 variations of your copy. So the text that goes underneath that tells a story is one of the most powerful things in terms of people taking action. Remember, the creative stops the scroll, but the copy is going to get them to take action. So you want to come up with 2 different ones, and it can be that you write one, then you whack it into ChatGPT and you say, hey, give me some variations on this, and then you use the 2. And when you place these all into Facebook, what's going to happen is you're going to start to see which ones are getting more reach, which ones are getting more clicks. So then you can figure out, oh, okay, creative number 1 seems to be, stopping the scroll, getting good reach. Creative audience number 2 is getting the best result in terms of people clicking my ad. And then copy number 1 seems to be the one that's, and then you kind of build your perfect ad from there, right? And then you back that horse. So hence the graphic in the bottom, you've got lots of little horses, and then eventually you kind of back one of them, and then that's where you put your money behind. So in terms of like ad spend, I would start with £10 a day to start collecting some data. Then when you've kind of figured out which ones are working, you might turn off some of the other ones, and then you've just got £10 that's running towards one ad rather than £10 that's split between like 16 different variations. And then you might incrementally increase that. And you don't want to increase it too quickly, because Facebook's got this weird thing of, if you suddenly like double your ad spend, the performance goes down, kind of just spits it out to like more people. So probably like every kind of day, you want to think about like a 20% increase. So it might go like £12, £16, £22, something like this, if you're looking to scale those ads. Obviously, if they're getting, the return on investment that you want. But you have to remember, super, super important to track the data from your ads, because what you'll find is you often get the return on investment on the back end. And what I mean by that is you ain't going to suddenly get loads of people buying your products as soon as you place the ad. They might buy 30 days later, once they've been through a challenge, once they've been sat in your audience for a while. People do take a while to warm up. And I've seen it so many times where I've done a campaign, I'm like, maybe I didn't make the money, maybe I kind of just broke even on my ad spend. But then a month later, I've signed 10 new clients that all came from this, this initial ad that I done. They've just taken different routes to get to a place where they're ready, and everyone's ready at a different time. But the only way, you can really track whether your ad's successful is you track that, right? So you have a tracking list of where they came from, and you know that they came from that ad. So you know it was a profitable ad. Nice. Okay, cool. Whiz through that. So next steps, give it a try, give it a whirl. If you want me to have a little look over where you are, and if I think you're in a good place to run ads and what next steps could be, then I'm happy to have a 15-minute call with you and just give you some more personalized advice. And then after that, if you're a good fit for the inner circle, where I take people through obviously all of these strategies and hold their hand while they're doing it, then just send me a DM with the info and I'll send you an offer doc of what that looks like and what the costs are involved in that. So that brings us concisely to our Q&A. Let me see in the chat if we've got any questions, and do whack some questions in now or come off mute if you've got any. Sarah, yes, a VA is an actual person, and it's not. Maybe Sarah, you might have to go back on mute because you're making a very strange beeping noise. Maybe stick it in the chat, Sarah. Don't know why that's happening. But just while you do that, to answer your question on a VA, yes, the VA that I use is a human. The problem with AI and chatbots is they can mess it up. They can royally mess it up. Having a chatbot on the front end that people know is a chatbot, i.e. when they go through the calorie counter and it's hey, I'm Richard's robot, I'm going to take you through this, is when you try and pretend to be a person, it can go horribly wrong. And I've seen this, and I've seen people kind of try and launch these platforms, and it's kind of backfired because sometimes they just bug out, right? Someone asks a question and it just gives a really weird response, or it blurts the same response out. As soon as that happens, then that lead is just burnt. It's like dead loss. They're like, oh, I was talking to a robot the whole time. So it's not worth the risk. And also, a robot just can't be as empathic and build that connection the same way that we can, relate to people's struggles as humans. And that's so important when you're trying to help people, is building that connection with you. So always recommend human conversations. And then with VAs, again, the problem can be, and bear in mind, VAs are often South African, or they're often Indian, because it's just cheap, right? Because it's quite expensive to pay someone that's based in a Western country to sit on your IG all day. Again, they can have broken English, right? And the other problem is they're often incentivized to book calls for you. So they'll try too hard to get someone on a call, and then it ends up being pushy. And either that person gets kind of scared off, or they end up getting on the call and they're not a great fit for your program. So the way I utilize VAs is to open a conversation, just send that outbound message, which feels really icky. So that might be literally, hey, Sarah, thanks for the follow. I've got 2 trainings available at the minute. One is about fat loss, one is about muscle gain. What would you be more interested in? And then they'll send a message back saying, oh, hey, thanks very much, it's fat loss. that's all they do, right? But that's the stuff that we're really rubbish at, because we don't like cold messaging people because it feels rubbish. Then you pick up the conversation naturally. Cool. I hope that answered the question. Amy, any questions from you? Sarah, if there's any other questions, stick them in the chat. Cool. Awesome. If after the workshop you do have a burning question, just send me a message on school or Instagram. Always happy to help. Hope you learned something today. Hope there was some value from coming along. I'm off to enjoy winter's Christmas play. Sarah, I hope you enjoy your Christmas play as well. Yeah, Sarah, quite early on your journey too. Yeah, nice. And yeah, awesome. And Amy, always lovely to see you as well. Hope you are well, and catch up with you soon.
Thanks ever so much.
Yeah, no problem. Have a lovely day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Sarah. Bye.